What is going on, everybody? What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today. So, we've all seen it, we've all heard about it. Ford has unveiled the first all-electric Mustang, and that's with the Mustang badge as well. But it's not necessarily a sports car, and isn't necessarily a Mustang. But I gotta tell you, all in all, I'm not mad at them for it. So obviously, as we can see, it's a little bit of a change, a little bit of a far cry from what we, as the American population, know the Mustang to be. But it's a safe bet to say that this Mustang, as they call it, is going to go up against probably the Audi e-tron, the Jaguar I-Pace, and the forthcoming Tesla Model Y. And the base model, as Ford claims, aims to have a 300-ish mile range battery, as well as all the amenities that come with owning an electric vehicle. So I'm just gonna get into it. Off the jump, I don't entirely hate the way that the Mach-E looks. Do I wish that they went with another name than Mach-E? A little bit, but you know, you can't fault them for trying to do something innovative. So here's the thing, I'm not one of those guys that's all like, oh, electric vehicles, this, electric vehicles, that. You know, forget about electric vehicles, it's all about the gas power, baby. Of course I'm all about the gas power, but that's not to say that I'm not a fan of EVs. But now here's what I think the big problem is going to be with the Mach-E. It's not necessarily that selling it is going to be the problem. I think this car is going to sell. I think it's going to sell pretty well, actually, when it debuts and when it finally hits the masses. The problem, I think, is that Ford, and I've been thinking this ever since I saw the rumors of Ford coming out with this EV. The problem, I think, is that Ford is jumping into a Tesla-controlled environment. What I mean by that is Tesla pretty much has the market cornered on software, on over-the-air updates, on superchargers and chargers of all kinds, even with their software inside the car to help you plan out your trip based around chargers and superchargers. Now Ford is obviously trying to combat that. Ford is coming out with an app for every person who owns the Mach-E from now and then on, for as long as the Mach-E is made. Ford is giving you an app free to be able to plan your drives around chargers that Ford is going to be installing in major cities and major areas. But here's the other issue that Ford, I believe, is going to encounter, is also that even for the base model, Tesla still has the market cornered on affordable pricing for electric vehicles. So it is rumored that the upcoming Tesla Model Y is going to start at about $39,000. Now Ford has unveiled, or sort of unveiled, that the base model for the Mach-E is going to start at around $43,000. Now couple the higher price with a battery that's about up to snuff to competition for Tesla, but not all the way there, I think that's gonna start to be the problem that future Mach-E owners or hopefuls are gonna start to see once Tesla unveils the Model Y. But obviously you can see the inspiration and you can see the hopefulness in Ford by going after Tesla, because obviously the I-Pace and the e-tron, all of those other cars are going to be astronomically priced, and they already are astronomically priced next to the Mach-E and, say, for comparison right now, the Tesla Model 3. So as I said before, when I first saw the unveiling of the Mach-E, I wasn't totally mad at Ford. Of course, I'm not the biggest Ford fan. I respect Ford in their own right. Obviously, you know I'm a Mopar boy through and through, but I respect Ford and I respect the brand. So starting with the front of the car, I actually think it looks pretty sharp. I mean, you know, it definitely keeps that Mustang-esque sort of look. Not too sure how I feel about them branding it as part of the Mustang stable, as Ford quotes it. Not too sure about how I feel about them branding it as part of the Mustang stable, but I think down the road it may be somewhat of a worthy name for the Mustang. Because you gotta think about it. While we all love our supercharged and our turbocharged gas-powered vehicles, EVs, at least performance-oriented EVs, totally take the cake on performance, in my opinion at least. Close to unlimited torque and outrageous horsepower coming from these battery-powered vehicles. Obviously, you can do a quick Google search and you can find Tesla Model S performance models that are pulling away on Hellcats, on exotics, on Mustangs, on all this other stuff. You may not be an EV fan, but I know every car person respects performance. And you gotta admit, guys, that some of these EVs are cornering the market on performance as well. Now, speaking of performance, Ford, not unveiling it yet, but Ford also has the coveted GT line available for the Mach-E, which is supposed to be coming spring of 2021, I think. Now, here's the other issue that I noticed with this GT line coming out for the Mach-E. So Ford claims right now that the battery range on the Mach-E GT performance model has about a 275 or 295 mile range, and it claims 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds. Now, here's the problem that we touched on before. If you look back at right now, the physical competitor that we have for the Mach-E right now until the Model Y is released is the Model 3. Now, if you get a Model 3 performance, you get about a 330 mile range battery with 0 to 60 in the low 3 seconds, while also pricing out for the Model 3 performance. Right now, you're looking at about $50,000 to $60,000 range. Now, Ford says the Mach-E GT performance will be available starting at $60,000. So if you take the good with the bad, you can see obviously that Ford is trying to competitively price against, of course, the Model 3, which is available right now, and the Model Y, which will be coming soon. So if you're really that frugal and you want to do the difference between the $5,000 between getting a Model 3 performance, we're not too sure about the Model Y performance yet, but getting the Model 3 performance versus the Mach-E GT, when you look at it that way, I like to save $5,000. So some people are probably going to gravitate more towards Tesla Model 3 or Tesla Model Y when it comes out, like I said before, because Tesla has the market cornered on charging and trip planning, and also has the market, at least when it comes to battling the Mach-E, cornered on performance for price. But overall, I think the Mach-E and the turning of the tides for EVs is kind of a cool thing to me. Now, do I think I'm going to rush out and get one? Probably not. I'm probably not a Mach-E Mustang kind of guy. But the thing you got to think about is that this, while some people might not think it's the best thing, this is actually, in my opinion, a good thing for the car community. Why? Because when you have EVs starting at such affordable prices, like if you look at the Model 3 just base, how affordable that price is for that vehicle, if everyone took the time, or if a majority of people took the time to be able to outfit themselves to be able to own and to maintain an EV, you could probably save more money to be able to keep your Hellcats or your GT500s or your exotic cars, whatever they may be. You can save more money in the long run to be able to keep these awesome gas-powered, forced inducted, spitting bald eagle out the back types of vehicles for the weekends. Why not? What's the problem with that? Why not save money on gas by being able to charge your EV at home during the week for your daily driver, and then having your Hellcats, or like I said, your GT500s, or whatever your crazy horsepower muscle car may be, or exotic tuner, if that's your taste, for the weekends and for car shows and car rallies. If you ask me, I think that's a pretty cool world to live in. Do I think the paradigm is gonna shift right now, right this very minute? No, of course not. But looking at Ford jumping into the EV game, trying to take down the conglomerate that is Tesla, having the market cornered on EVs, definitely puts a foot in the door for other companies to experiment in the EV game. I will definitely not be surprised if we start seeing Chevy, even though Chevy's sort of got EVs now, seeing Chevy come out with more performance-oriented EVs and more EVs oriented towards the masses rather than the little niche that Chevy has tried to carve out for EVs as it stands now. In fact, I envision many of the major car companies now with Ford pretty much bridging the gap between Tesla and EVs and the masses. I see plenty more major car companies coming out with performance-oriented or mass production oriented EVs in the future. Do I think EVs are going to take over the world? No, man, definitely not. I think there are plenty of people who love the sound of a motor, who love the sound of an exhaust, and of course, who love burning rubber. Saving the environment is great, but at the same time, burning rubber is also great, and I think we can all agree on that. Now finally, it's on to the big question that's on everybody's mind. Is the Mach-E Mustang going to sell? If I'm being honest, I think the Mach-E is going to sell actually very well, probably better than most purists are believing that it's going to. I actually think for the everyday driver, for the everyday person who might not be a car enthusiast, who might not be a purist, so to speak. I actually think it's gonna corner the market for a lot of people who maybe didn't want to jump or put all of their stock in Tesla and now maybe want to try something different. As I said, I do not believe the problem is selling for the Mach-E. What I think is the selling aspect of selling it to you guys, to us, to the masses. But I think in the end, once we give it some time, once we rip that band-aid off, so to speak, I think a lot of people in general are going to come around to the Mach-E, maybe not the Mach-E, are just going to come around to even looking at EVs and considering EVs as part of the car community. If you look at me personally, like I said, I'm not mad at them. I really like EVs. I mean, that Tesla Model 3, boy, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I've looked at it as a daily. I've definitely almost pulled the trigger on one as a daily as well. But maybe that's for another time. And that's not even mentioning the Model S. Now, the Model S is crazy, but let me tell you what, I still have not, and I'd love to, experience the performance Model S. Because crazy torque and horsepower from a battery is awesome, but 0 to 60 in almost 2.9 seconds from a Tesla Model S outfitted with ludicrous speed, that's something I would like to experience, and I think a lot of car enthusiasts have to experience to really get the potential behind EVs and, more importantly, performance EVs. But that's about gonna do it for me, guys. I figured with such an important unveiling happening in the car community, I wanted to touch base with you guys and, of course, see what you guys think. Like I said, let me know your opinions of the Mustang Mach-E in the comments below. Do you think it's gonna dethrone Tesla, or do you think it's gonna be a dud? What do you guys think? Of course, if you like this video, as always, give me a thumbs up. I appreciate each and every one of you guys' continued support on the channel and the subscriptions and the new subscribers. I appreciate all of it. So thank you guys from the bottom of my heart for the continued support on this channel. I hope to provide you guys with more auto enthusiast content as the channel continues to grow. And so with that, this video is over. I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care, YouTube.